It's nice and quiet. There's only a couple other people here. It's off season. So I decided I was going to put my windows in while I'm here for 3 days. I bought RecPro windows and I opened it up and they're all bound together. And the first thing I seen is this nice dent. So I'm way up in the mountains and I'm going to try to straighten it out. But FYI, don't buy RecPro unless somebody else has had better luck. But they were packaged really good. And the small window was attached to the big window. And there's no way that it happened in transport, so they packaged it with a big old dent in it. So bad customer service, bad quality control. Either way, I'll show you the process of putting them in. Okay, good morning. Today is window installation day. Kind of show you a couple of the processes I use. Not saying they're right. It's just the way I do it. I take the trim ring that comes with it and mark out a hole on a piece of cardboard, usually the box that it comes in, cut it out. And I put my window in that and make sure it fits. And then I tape off my door. I position the window where I think it should go, kind of center it in the door and then get the height I want. Usually the same width on each side and the top, and it seems to work. You don't have to worry about studs in these doors because they're just foam filled. And then I tape the template to the door after taping the door itself. And then I mark it out. Take my template off. And then I measure, make sure I'm square in the door, even distances on each side. Maybe clean up the marks a little bit. And then I run another piece of tape across the outside of everything, just so I have at least 2. I usually do 3 layers of tape. That way my jigsaw platform doesn't scratch the door. And usually put a layer of tape on the platform of the jigsaw also. I know, probably a little bit too anal, but I usually wind up with one little scratch somehow. At least one per couple windows, it seems like. But there's my process. Do that, and then I'll cut a pilot hole. And then jigsaw around it. I'll show you the next step. Okay, holes cut. So next thing I do is make sure the trim ring fits good. If it doesn't, which it usually doesn't because the jigsaw blade gets all sideways, I just tape off the inside and use a razor knife and a pair of pliers and snap it, score it and snap it. Then I put pieces of tape all the way around to give me a guide after I put the window in, just to pre-fit it, and then put some pieces of tape so I know exactly where it needs to go. And then I take the seal off that comes with it, pull this off, which usually comes off pretty easy. And then take butyl tape, put 2 layers of butyl tape around it, and then line it up with these pieces of tape and set it in, and then put my screws in. I'll show you when it's done. Okay, there's the final product. I'm sure a lot of people will wonder why I use butyl tape instead of the original seal, but it just ensures that you're going to get a good seal. And make sure you use 2 layers because it is tapered a little bit. I've tried using 1 and it just wasn't enough. So after, I usually don't trim it until the sun's been on it. Give it a few weeks or a month because it'll keep squishing out as it compresses. And then a lot of times when you buy the butyl tape, they'll send you a little plastic tool. You can take that little plastic tool and run it around the edge and it cuts it nice and flush. Doesn't scratch the paint or anything. But there it is. Sliding window. Not really a fan of these Rec Pros. I don't seem to be as good as the other ones, but we'll see. Just happy to have a window in it. Get some ventilation going on. Turn my fan on, leave the window open. There it is. Off to the other side.